The Galactic survey vessel Harmony's Edge drifts through the outer rim of the Kepler sector when their long-range sensors detect an anomaly. Captain Vex of the Altarian fleet commands his bridge crew to investigate what appears to be a derelict spacecraft of unknown origin. The ship they discover defies all known engineering principles. Its hull gleams with strange metal that seems to absorb light, covered in scorch marks and impact craters that tell stories of countless battles. The vessel's design is aggressive, angular, with weapon ports that dwarf anything in their database. Science Officer Kale runs preliminary scans and gasps. The readings show radiation signatures, atmospheric composition, and structural materials that match only one classification in their records, a Class 15 death world. These planets are considered uninhabitable nightmares where evolution has gone terribly wrong. Captain, Kale reports with trembling tentacles, this ship originates from Sol 3, designation Earth. According to our files, no sentient life should exist there. The planet has gravity twice our standard, an atmosphere with poisonous oxygen levels, and surface conditions that would kill most species within hours. Captain Vex stares at the massive warship floating before them. If something built this vessel, something survived on that death world long enough to develop space travel. The implications terrify him. The bridge falls silent as they realize they may have found evidence of the galaxy's most dangerous species, one that evolved in hell itself. Against protocol, Captain Vex orders a boarding party. The ship appears dead, its systems offline, making it the perfect opportunity to study technology from a Class 15 world without the risk of encountering its creators. The boarding team consists of Security Chief Rax, a battle-hardened Krathan warrior, and Dr. Luma, their xenobiology specialist. Both wear full environmental suits as they cut through the ship's outer airlock. Inside, they find corridors designed for beings much larger than themselves. The ceiling height suggests the ship's creators stand nearly twice as tall as most civilized species. Emergency lighting flickers sporadically, casting eerie shadows on walls lined with what appear to be weapon racks. Dr. Lumet examines strange symbols etched into the bulkheads. These markings, they're not decorative. They appear to be warnings, hazard indicators. This entire ship seems designed around the assumption that danger is constant. As they venture deeper, they discover the ship isn't as dead as they assumed. Hidden sensors track their movement. Automated systems quietly activate. Somewhere in the ship's depths, something begins to wake up. The boarding team reaches what appears to be the bridge when they hear it. The sound of heavy footsteps echoing through the corridors behind them. Something large is moving through the ship, and it's heading their way. Security Chief Rax raises his weapon, but Dr. Luna grabs his arm. Wait, if these beings survived a Class 15 world, our weapons might be useless against them. The footsteps grow closer. The bridge doors hiss open, and 3 figures emerge from the shadows. They stand nearly 7 feet tall, bipedal, with pale skin marked by scars. Their eyes hold an intelligence that immediately unsettles the boarding party. These are not primitive savages, but survivors of the galaxy's most hostile world. The lead figure speaks in a deep, calm voice. I am Commander Jake of the Earth vessel Defiance. You are aboard a human ship. Dr. Luna's translator struggles with the alien language before finally processing the words. Humans. That's what they call themselves. Commander Jake explains that his ship was damaged in a battle with raiders 3 cycles ago. His crew of 12 has been in stasis while automated systems attempted repairs. The boarding party's presence triggered the wake-up protocols. What disturbs the aliens most is how casually Jake discusses their situation. He mentions fighting off a few dozen raider ships, as if it were routine maintenance. When Dr. Luma asks about Earth, Jake describes their homeworld with the same matter-of-fact tone one might use to discuss the weather. Gravity's about twice what you're probably used to. Air's a bit thick. We get storms that can level cities, but you adapt. Jake shrugs. Most of the wildlife tries to kill you, but that keeps things interesting. Security Chief Rax realizes that what would be catastrophic disasters to any civilized world are simply Tuesday afternoon for these humans. They don't see themselves as survivors of impossible odds. They see this as normal life. The true horror dawns on the boarding party. These humans aren't trying to intimidate them. They're being friendly. Captain Vex receives the boarding party's initial report with growing alarm. The humans aren't hostile, but their casual descriptions of their capabilities paint a terrifying picture of what evolution produces on a Class 15 death world. Commander Jake agrees to give the Altarians a tour of his ship, treating them as honored guests rather than potential threats. This hospitality somehow makes everything worse. In the armory, Jake shows them weapons designed for crowd control. The energy output readings would classify these as siege weapons in any civilized military. These are just for dealing with angry wildlife back home, Jake explains cheerfully. Dr. Luna examines their medical bay and finds equipment designed to treat injuries that would be instantly fatal to most species. Broken bones, massive blood loss, and organ damage are apparently routine medical concerns for humans. The ship's recreational area contains exercise equipment that would challenge industrial machinery. You have to stay in shape, Jake mentions. Otherwise, you get soft, and then something eats you. When Rax asks about their military, Jake becomes thoughtful. Well, we've had a few wars. Nothing too serious. Just the usual human stuff. World wars, nuclear exchanges, the standard growing pains. We figured out space travel right after we almost wiped ourselves out with atomic weapons. The casual mention of nuclear warfare as a growing pain sends chills through the boarding party. These humans weaponize the atom and survive their own destructive power. Captain Vex realizes they've discovered not just another species, but potentially the most dangerous predators in the galaxy, ones who consider violence a recreational activity. As Jake shares more about human history, the true scope of their nature becomes clear. They didn't just survive their hostile world, they conquered it completely, then grew bored and started leaving. Earth's pretty tame now, Jake explains. We fixed the climate, tamed most of the dangerous species, built cities that can withstand anything the planet throws at us. Some folks got restless, so we started exploring. The humans haven't just reached space. They'd been quietly exploring the galaxy for decades. Jake mentions colonies, trading posts, and exploration vessels scattered across dozens of systems. The galactic community has been sharing space with apex predators without knowing it. Dr. Luna asks why humans haven't made contact with other species. Jake scratches his head thoughtfully. Politics, mostly. Some of our leaders think it's better to observe first, make contact slowly. They're worried about cultural contamination or something. Plus, we've run into a few species that shot first and asked questions later. The implication hits Captain Vex like a plasma torpedo. Humans have been studying them, watching, learning. The galaxy's most dangerous species has been preparing while everyone else remained oblivious. Jake shows them star charts marking human-explored systems. The scope is staggering. They've mapped regions of space that other species consider impossible to reach. Their ships routinely travel through areas filled with radiation, gravitational anomalies, and other hazards that would destroy conventional vessels. The galaxy's a pretty dangerous place, Jake observes. But when you grow up on Earth, everywhere else seems like a vacation resort. Captain Vex faces an impossible decision. He could report this discovery to the Galactic Council, potentially starting a panic that might lead to war with a species that considers nuclear weapons growing pains. Or he could remain silent and hope that humanity's cautious approach to contact continues. Jake seems to understand the captain's dilemma. Look, we know this is a lot to process. Finding out you're sharing the galaxy with a bunch of Death World survivors probably isn't how you plan to spend your day. The human commander makes an offer that somehow makes the situation both better and worse. How about we arrange a proper meeting? Some of our diplomats have been wanting to make formal contact anyway. We can set up something official, controlled, give everyone time to adjust to the idea. Dr. Luna realizes that Jake's casual suggestion represents the most significant moment in galactic history. First contact with a species that evolved beyond all known parameters of survival. Security Chief Rax asks the question everyone's thinking. What if the Council decides humanity is too dangerous to coexist with? Jake's expression doesn't change, but something shifts in his posture. For the first time, the aliens catch a glimpse of what made humans the apex predators of a Class 15 world. That would be unfortunate, Jake says quietly. But we've survived worse than political misunderstandings. We'd prefer to be friends, but we're prepared for other possibilities. The simple statement carries more menace than any threat could. These humans aren't boasting about their capabilities. They're stating facts with the same tone one might use to discuss the weather. Captain Vex realizes that the choice isn't really his to make. Humanity has already chosen to reveal themselves. The only question is whether this revelation comes through diplomacy or discovery. 3 months later, the first official human delegation arrives at the Galactic Council station aboard a ship that makes the Defiance look like a pleasure craft. The vessel's mere presence in orbit sends ripples of unease through the assembled representatives of civilized space. Ambassador Tom, a friendly human diplomat, addresses the Council with the same casual confidence that seems universal among his species. He speaks of trade opportunities, cultural exchange, and mutual cooperation, as if humanity's terrifying capabilities are merely interesting footnotes. The Council members listen with mixed fascination and terror as Tom describes human colonies, their expansion into previously unexplored regions of space, and their willingness to share the benefits of their unique evolutionary advantages. We understand there might be some concerns about our background, Tom acknowledges with a slight smile. But we've learned a lot about getting along with others. We've had plenty of practice dealing with dangerous situations peacefully. Captain Vex, now serving as humanity's unofficial liaison, watches the proceedings with growing appreciation for human psychology. They're not trying to intimidate anyone. They genuinely want to be part of the galactic community. The fact that they could probably conquer it single-handedly is just an inconvenient detail to them. The vote to accept humanity into the Galactic Council passes unanimously, not because the members aren't afraid, but because they realize that beings capable of such destruction who choose cooperation instead might be exactly what the galaxy needs. As the session concludes, Tom approaches Captain Vex with a datapad. By the way, we've been working on some improvements to starship shielding based on what we learned about cosmic radiation near Earth. Thought your people might find it useful. The casual gift of technology that could revolutionize space travel perfectly encapsulates humanity's approach to galactic citizenship, helpful, generous, and completely unaware of how terrifying they are. Standing at the station's observation deck, watching human ships dock alongside vessels from dozens of other species, Captain Vex reflects on the galaxy's new reality. They've gained powerful allies, dangerous friends, and living proof that evolution's cruelest experiments sometimes produce the universe's greatest survivors. The galaxy will never be the same, but perhaps that's exactly what it needed.